what next? Wouldn't that be exciting to say that we
Come on,
have
Meg.
the
You're the
full
community director.
STYANAX anime. Like I said,
Oh, guys,
this whole
anime.
dev stream is very focused on
Guys.
Veilbreaker. You're gonna get
Anime.
a first look at a lot of the stuff we've been working on.
Where my
Veilbreaker,
weebs
'cause
at?
I think
Where my
the only
weebs
thing
at?
we've ever shown
Where
is
my
that
weebs
teaser.
at? Yeah.
Enjoy the STYANAX anime.
All right, let's see. Blood,
Play it.
gore, and violence.
He saved us. Me and my brother. Orphans of war.
What the fuck is that thing?
Brought us to this paradise. To join the others.
Yo, those
Until
eyebrows,
we
though.
came of age.
Did I
Until
say eyebrows?
he summoned
Yes.
us.
You know what I meant.
He called it
Did we? Did we?
Ascension Day.
Ascension Day, boys. Guys. Drums.
5 years ago, Daryl went to him. Now, it's my time.
It's her time, boys. Why does this look like Arcane? I don't fucking know, man. Oh.
Maybe it's the
My
same
dear
studio.
child,
No, it's not like Arcane.
your ascension is at hand.
Looks similar, but not like the
It's
same.
a scouter. He just did a thing like a scouter. Wait, is she a Tenno? She look like a. Is she?
All the chosen before you have played their part in my vision.
Huh.
I have something beautiful to show you.
Liar. Where's my brother?
Clever Arya, that fire, that singular determination. Mine too.
Well, what's this?
Behold.
Holy
the
shit!
fire.
Chat, this is your real mom.
Your
Holy
brother
fuck!
is here, somewhere, like all the other chosen. You alone will be its
My
driving
God, bro.
force.
Oh my god.
Get in.
It's definitely not an anime.
I'm not alone.
Boy, she's not alone. She pressed the button. Something's happening. Oh snap! Did she just summon a warframe with a thing?
Yes.
STYANAX. Yo, Ruffy,
Okay.
welcome on in. Thank you so much.
A relic. I will
Thank you so
have
much.
to show you the future myself.
Ew, it's gonna be poked into him. Guy, he's getting juiced up. Oh my god. So did he kill a bunch of people? And now he's got some superpower mutant thing?
Almost
Yes.
wasted this gift on you.
Yo. Yo.
Daryl.
Oh, there's your bro. Okay.
Daryl!
Girl, she can't hear. He can't hear you. Of course, that wakes him up. Of course. The sound of my sister's voice has awoken me. Wait, he can control dead people? The new Necros? What the fuck? Oh shit! Oh shit, this guy just went Super Saiyan.
Oh yes.
Broly energy.
Oh yes.
Oh snap.
By the way, we gotta watch superhero.
Goodbye.
The legendary Super Saiyan. Such power. It's unreal. Holy crap. Boy, STYANAX boned your mom so hard, she blew up. Sheesh. Wait, who's piloting STYANAX?
We'll keep you close, Tenno.
Wait, so the girl wasn't a Tenno. What the fuck was she? I'm lost. God damn. Same
Right
14,
now on
it
the public
did.
build. So I want to explain a little bit about STYANAX.
Yes,
So
please.
he is our 50th Warframe. This is the 50th unique Warframe we've made, and I think there's a
50?
piece of art. Yeah. So
Oh shit, that's
as
how
you
it
can
looks
see,
like.
Excalibur being the original swordsman, and now STYANAX, the I don't even
Phalanx.
know how to we call him Hoplite internally for a long time, but he's that spear and shield fellow.
Spear and field shell. Okay.
That's what, am I wrong?
Sure.
And we're treating his release a little differently. So what we're going to do is, for the launch of Veilbreaker, if you log in to the first 2 weeks of the update, so it's going to come out in September, you'll know the date, and from that date, when we announce it, you can get STYANAX. Off to a good start.
He's like a-
STYANAX
he's like a
completely
phalanx warrior.
free, just for logging
Right?
in. After that point, he'll be in the usual spots in the market for platinum, or where you actually earn him in game, which we'll talk about later. But if you just want instant access to our 50th Warframe, he will be yours for free, just for logging in for that 2-week period after we launch Veilbreaker, because this is
Free
very much an
Warframe?
occasion worth celebrating.
It's a celebration of the 50th.
Yo.
Warframes.
I know.
Let's go.
So that's how
Wait,
that's
just
going to
the
work.
Warframe?
So if you want to get your hands on him without having to use platinum or go through the steps to earn him for free, you can, well, earn him easier for free.
Freer.
The freer than
Freer
free.
path.
Yes.
The free path freer.
Yeah, there's free.
Free to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
and
There's-
super free.
Incredible value. We need one of those like little.
Yeah, free and super
If you're a
free.
free to
Now
play
you're
player,
free.
this is the
Yeah,
biggest, biggest
games of service, we really need
thumbs
to
up
always
for
be
you.
pushing the
Free Warframe,
terminology
bro.
forward, so there's free.
Pretty
Or
much.
you're
That's why it's free.
or you're
One of the two.
Someone's fault.
But it is free, so you can't complain, right? That's the rule.
Wow,
right.
it's free.
And
You
exclamation
can't
points.
complain.
Interesting.
That's
I was gonna say,
no.
exclamation point
So it's gonna
STYANAX
be
isn't
bad.
Get you anything in chat, by the way.
It's gonna be bad.
Top
then.
light.
Gameplay
Sure,
time. Let's
Show
go.
STYANAX.
Come on over.
Oh,
we-
STYANAX gameplay.
Oh, this is perfect timing! Oh, look at
so
him!
good.
He's such a Chad.
I have
Yo.
never. I did not see this item before.
Yo.
This
I
is
saw it
new.
today and I was like,
Oh my
what is
god.
this?
Yo, that
legal?
animation is
Yeah,
kind
I
of
think
cool.
Capture what, yeah?
Noble
we can
looks
get a
chilled.
closer look thanks to the zoom technology 2022.
Man, that was one of my favorite
His
stream
textures
moments,
look
by the way.
fucking cool. I love his textures.
Oh.
Oh,
Greg, let's take a look at your modeling
yeah,
work,
Greg.
shall we?
Inspiration? Any inspiration?
I have to maintain the product quality. So.
Yeah, so
Oh,
STYANAX is
it colors
really,
really
really
well.
fun,
Holy
really
shit.
awesome, and we are going to be doing some gameplay.
Oh
with
my
him,
God,
so
it colors
we'll,
really well.
Fashion frame him a bit first.
These
Or
textures
wait,
are so good.
Usually,
Not
Jeff
stop
would say,
coming.
stick with the default.
Okay.
So STYANAX is coming in Veilbreaker, the biggest QOL that we've ever added to the game. We've if by the way, spoilers, if you didn't play
That's
the new
the
war, don't
biggest
ask where
quality
I
of
am.
life.
But the time to use this little energy teleporter has been significantly reduced, almost by 75%.
Wow.
That is some QOL right there. So don't worry, guys.
And that's a wrap for the stream.
That's it.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
for
being
watching.
Long stream.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Get your code, STYANAX.
Yep. Thanks so much.
Top light.
Yeah.
Stop saying
Hoplite.
spoiler. Yeah, it's been
Spearman?
over a year.
Infantryman.
Who the fuck cares if
I'm
it's a
probably just
spoiler?
gonna hop to
Well,
actually.
there are still people who haven't
I don't know.
played it.
Man,
Complementary
fuck
color
those
has
who
me on
haven't
edge now.
Oh boy.
actually remember.
Level-
He's
no, no.
kind of interesting. I felt like
It's fucking level 12, bro.
when I
Level
saw
12.
the model, like so.
Bro, please disable motion
we
blur.
started
That thing
with
looks
one.
so ugly.
What would you put on Spear Boy for his one? Throwing spears. I mean, what else are you gonna do? So you saw that throwing spear there. If you hit an enemy and then the enemy hits a wall, which happens a lot because there's walls all over the place, and you hit them really hard,
What about in open world
it
maps?
creates a little vortex and whoops, as Megan, we recorded Megan for the sound effect. That is exactly the sound effect that we put there. And then you bring enemies together.
Oh
so
my god, the fucking motion
damn,
blur,
Rep.
please.
Disable
Disable motion
You
blur.
have, infinite
How can
Sure
you
do.
play with that ugly fucking effect?
Need some enemies. We're ramping up. I don't want to fail the mission on stream.
Please don't. Make it look good.
Ooh!
Whoa.
Oh my
Oh
god!
my god,
So
that's
as
how
you
he
can see,
impales
he
your
was-
mom.
He was
bro.
not long
Holy
for
shit.
this world. In fact,
What?
because of the level, they might just kind of insta die here.
Guys,
They
do,
still
you- do you
suck.
think
Like,
it's
they
a
do the
pseudo
vortex.
exalted weapon?
Could be.
Yeah, so with the vortex, it's fairly long range vortex, so you
please.
can, which is jump and spear them down because you want them to hit a wall. So if you jump and spear them down, that vortex happens near you.
I got
so
my
you
eyes.
Can, control quite a bit
Oh,
with that.
what the fuck?
That kind of be your default thing to do if you're on Dallas.
What is that? Is that
So his number 2 slams them with a shield. So if you get close to them, I think they might be so low level that they might just die.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So it
They're
does
so
damage.
low, they
So
just might die.
at this low level, it kills them. But if we find a heavy gunner later, you'll see it cuts armor in half and it cuts shields in half, and then does damage. So it's like a stagger, which staggers them for like 6 seconds. So it's like a micro CC.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Does it
it
scale?
also cuts their shields and their armor by 50%. And do I talk about armor shredding now?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So when I was doing this one,
Armor
I
shredding.
started kind of looking at how armor shredding works on different abilities. I noticed that it was pretty inconsistent.
Yes, it
So
is.
essentially, in some Warframes, when we do armor shredding by like 50%, essentially what we do is first we go from 100 to a 50, and then if we take another 50, we just take 25 because it's a 50% of the 50%.
It's additive.
And then you take another 50, and now we only took 12.5 and 7. And it just kind of go down, down, down.
Yeah.
And it takes like 7 hits to fully remove armor.
Yes.
And that's how most armor shredding works. In fact, there's only one that's different, and that's Oberon. So Oberon, the way it works with him is if he does 2 strips of 50, he actually takes off 100%.
Okay.
So I didn't like that it was inconsistent. So we actually changed them all. Instead of to the way that most do it, we changed them to the Oberon way. So now all armor stripping abilities are more efficient, well, are more effective. So essentially, if you hit twice with a 50%, you'll strip 100% on all armor stripping abilities.
In chat, yeah, bro.
Percent-based. I
Let's
mentioned
go.
percent-based because, for example, Mag is not percent-based. She's like a fixed amount.
Yeah.
So that one didn't
Changes? What
change.
is
It's only the
this?
percent ones that are changed. And we
Get
changed
outta
it for
here.
a whole bunch of them. I don't have a list with me, but it's a bunch. On
So
top of that, we also
that
did a few
means,
revisions to numbers
Ember.
on a few of them. So, for example, I'm gonna do this from memory. So sorry if I don't bring them all. But
Ember Gauss.
Terrify, I think we went from like
Oh, yeah,
30% to 75%.
Ayo.
Oberon, we went from 30% to 50% strip.
Ayo.
We increased a few, not a ton, but like 4 or 5, I think we increased. And we also changed a few from being duration-based to being permanent.
Ayo.
So the
Frost?
one I remember right now for that, I think is Banshee with the augment.
The Sonic Fracture Augment?
Yeah, I think Banshee with the
Ayo.
Sonic Fragment augment used to be duration-based. Now it's permanent. So once you hit them,
shit.
they don't have the armor and they stay
shit.
without the armor.
And oh my
Banshee's
god,
gonna be
breaking
so
news,
broken.
the STYANAX ability.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, you're like, you do what you gotta do, but we gotta go talk about the other
What
two.
about Shuriken? Should be
Uh,
the
It's
same.
also
Yeah.
worth mentioning that shield one is the helmet's subsume ability, so you'll be able
That
to
is the-
shield
yeah.
bash
Yeah.
as anyone.
Yeah, so the reason I looked at
Guys,
the whole
there's a
armor
new
shredding
meta
is because
coming. Oh,
this one
shit.
armor shreds.
That's kind of
and
an old
in
meta
the
at the same
process of
time.
seeing that inconsistency is that we decided to change everything, right? So, yeah.
Wait, you mean Banshee
Third
4?
ability, here we go.
Third ability. Here we go. So this is a buff, and it's basically called Rally, or well, actually, I don't even remember.
Rally
what
to
it's called.
me.
Rally.
It's fucking Brigitte up in here, bro.
So basically what it does is buffs nearby allies and yourself to get passive energy regen. And every time you get an assist on a kill, you gain shields.
And that, yes, I'm gonna do his ultimate before the level ends.
what?
So.
Okay.
On one guy though, so prepare
On
yourself.
one guy, okay. Ultimate on one guy!
Ayo, what?
Hell
That
yeah.
was some,
Ayo,
If you saw, if you saw the moment from the end of the animation where he jumps up and then just summons like energy spears and starts throwing them at the thing, that's basically the
I am
ultimate.
the bone of my fucking
And
sword, bro.
basically it does, yeah, it does a whole bunch of damage, does slash
Dude,
proc. So
it's like fucking
it's
Archer,
pretty
dude.
beastly again, and it scales pretty well.
Nobody got that reference?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. So that's STYANAX, and he's coming.
Sorry, passive.
Wait, what?
We're going back to the arsenal. We'll be
Okay.
fine.
The passive is he gets crit chance on weapons based on the amount of shields he has. So if you put a whole bunch of all the shield mods and you get over shields, which works with his tree, which is as you're killing, you start getting shields and getting over shields. That increases the crit chance with weapons. The effect is doubled for spear gun weapons. Which I
That's
guess I
some
also
good shit.
oh, it's a water fountain?
Yeah, I got half a
Lord.
Perrier, the other half's on the floor because I spilled it. But
Oh my
overall,
God.
that is gameplay of STYANAX. As you can
Damn.
see, Axios Javelin, Theros Strike, Rally Point, and Final Stand.
Axios Javelin. Final
It's a real
stand. Rally
power
point.
fantasy, isn't it? His final ultimate.
Yeah, part of the fun with new Warframes is you get to watch all the idle animations to see
different
where
idles,
the
yeah.
I
personality
think
comes
Sugar's
through.
looking perfect now.
Jeff,
Hopefully.
pull up.
We got the Jeff
If
one
it
on pull up.
is.
Who knows?
That's going to be hard to top.
Let's do a live. I don't know.
Veilbreaker is going to launch. You just log into
Don't
the
get
game. You're going to
stairs.
get a nice little
Stairs.
inbox, and you're going to get STYANAX for free.
You
for
fall
that
down
2-week
from the
window,
stairs.
And then it will be, like you said, in its regular path.
No, it's
And when
a
it comes to
duration
the free
based.
path after that, we'll talk about this on stream too. So when we said it's going to be a long stream, we meant it.
Stare
Yeah,
at
it's
this.
already
Okay, bro.
240.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Oh boy.
But there's a lot of quality of life in this update. When I say a lot,
Why are you
I
throwing
mean
the
a
paper
lot.
in the back?
A lot.
There's a lot of
So
stuff.
much so that we have 18 pages of notes to go over.
We got a lot of notes.
Spear for.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's
Wow.
sort of the overview, and then with
Tip
all
of
the
the spear.
new comes quality of life. So
I did
we
the
also
knife.
have. I think there's a second slide here that tells you that
50th
yes, of course,
Warframe,
STYANAX
quality
is
of life
coming.
changes,
Also
new
50th
void shell
Warframe,
skins, Protea
quality
collection,
of life,
plus more.
and of course,
What
there's
about
tons. So
operator
we can go through all of
stuff,
those
bro?
things for people that have been waiting to see Protea Deluxe in action. And yeah, we'll just talk about the
Okay,
quality of
WUKONG
life
changes,
overview,
guys,
and then
WUKONG
we're gonna get
changes.
into it. Yeah, so if you want to.
Last
start
grass
off. We got
pre-work. Oh
Syndicate
my god,
Pledge
thank god.
first.
All right. So you're going to be
Blight,
coming back to the slide a
Gilding
lot.
changes.
So
Okay.
prepare yourself. So
Just a little back and forth.
yeah, so for Syndicate stuff, since the dawn of time, man has yearned to pledge to syndicates. If you don't know, if you love a syndicate,
Yes.
you put on a sigil. And you
Yes.
say to yourself, do I want to support, Steel Meridian because I'm based and awesome, or do I want to support Red Veil because I like to kill people?
Wow.
But what you'll notice is that the sigils, as you can see, no longer have any % associated with them, which means they're purely cosmetic.
What?
Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah, so essentially, I mean, I see chat already starting. Essentially, we split that, so you no longer, now the sigils are just for
Then what's the point of
who do you want
wearing them
to
if they
represent,
don't
what
bring-
looks
So
cool
how
with
you
your
gonna?
fashion frame,
What's gonna happen?
and it no longer has any ties
There's gonna be
to
new
the
ways
gameplay
to
of earning
gain
the points.
standing now.
Okay.
Now for that, when you just get to the system or when you want to switch, you go to the Syndicate's console, and there it is.
Pledge allegiance to a syndicate to increase your standing with that syndicate and its allies,
Okay.
and earn rewards. You
Okay.
lose standing with syndicates that oppose your pledged ideals, but can rescind your pledge at any time.
Okay.
So for
If
me,
you've done voiceover work before.
some would say. So say I want to switch it up and be a part of the parent
Yo,
sequence.
I want to get busy
click
with a
pledge.
new loco, lady.
I am now
Goddamn.
pledged. He hates me.
You're right off.
Yeah, he hates me. But now he likes me, so I'm happy. But then at any time, I can rescind it if I want to swap. So yeah, you can just swap around, syndicate hop. Who should I choose, Pablo?
Well, you can just
I'm
change
a
at will
red
now?
veil kind of guy.
All right.
I'm very edgy, as you can see.
edgy.
True.
That you can see from my colors that
Yes.
it's real.
You
life.
still have to, like,
Yeah.
form up
So
the
basically,
standing
just
and
by
shit.
playing and by pledging yourself to
Yeah.
one of these syndicates, you're getting that standing.
And we also have, we did keep a little bit of like the bonus for how much do you get. So basically, as you rank through the, syndicate, you'll basically start earning higher bonus, and that basically, it really comes in more for
Okay.
speeding up if you want to do transitions between them, or when you want to fill up your standing for.
Yeah, so if you hide
For the day.
Esteen, what Pablo just said is right there in the UI, so you don't need to worry about that bonus because I'm max rank, earning 15% of affinity, so you'll be able to swap and stuff. The percent
it's-
still
it's-
scale based on rank.
Oh, it
for
scales
syndicates.
based on rank, just
Yep.
passively.
And,
Okay, that's interesting.
So the intention with this is sometimes, obviously, the first 3 frames that players will use, we know they won't have all the mods and all the things that all of our veterans have. So
Wait.
we wanted to kind of make them a bit more accessible, especially for that crowd. So
Okay.
we touched a few things.
Uh-huh.
I don't have. We did those maybe between 3 and 2 months
respect,
ago, so
but
I don't
ugly-ass
remember
fashion.
them all by
I
heart.
got a whole list if you want me to rhyme it off to you. I won't, though.
You can tell me if I forget.
Okay, great. I'll correct you. Go.
So in Excalibur, the main focus was his 1.
Uh-huh.
Basically, we added, if I remember correctly, we added slash procs to every swing. It's much faster. It feels snappier. There was some touch-ups to the FX to make it look
Okay.
a little more oomphy, more satisfying when you're doing the attacks. For his 2, I don't think we changed anything in particular.
You don't need to change much on
For
his 2.
his 3, we did add a slash proc to hit. We removed the enemy cap. I guess the enemy cap isn't really for new players, but anyways.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then I think for his 4th, we didn't change anything.
No.
In general, what we did do, and this applies to all 3, a few of the stats for the abilities If you guys remember the change we did for Arcanes, where they had like 4 different stats and they all scaled every rank.
Yes.
We changed Arcanes to now have only 1 stat that ranks every rank, and everything else is pushed to the max.
Yeah.
We did that with a few of the abilities here. And the overall objective of that is that if you have a lot of abilities that scale every rank, then the improvements become exponential. Whereas if you just have 1, it's linear, right? So basically we wanted to make it, you're raising the floor, but keeping the ceiling the same. That's kind of what we're doing. So we did that with this ones, again, for the intent of it being, and feeling better when you're just starting.
You mean feeling stronger right off the start?
Basically,
what are they
the
changing
problem generally with mag is whenever you pulled, enemies would just pull in your direction.
Oh, you mean her 1? Her 1?
Her 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you said big changes for her 2.
No.
Yeah.
So I was her 2.
Her as well.
Yeah, her as well. Additional.
My God, Pablo.
Yeah, so her
I
pool.
was like, what are they gonna do with
generally,
her
you would
too,
pull
man?
enemies and they would just end up way behind you, and you'd have no way to shoot them. It'd be kind of uncomfortable often. So now when you pull, they pull in front of you. We made a little vortex in front of you, so you kind of just gather them up and smash them.
That's kind of interesting.
It is honestly maybe a little too powerful, but it is really fun. It feels much better to use. You can gather enemies and just kind of, if you're using melee, you can just slam them right there.
But why is it the same map? Why are you going to the same
second ability,
mission?
it also is very good because you basically gather them on the bubble. So it definitely feels pretty good. One thing we did change here is because it's so much more powerful now. The helmet version was reduced. So just bear that in mind if you're going to be using it. As usual, whenever there's a reduced version in the helmet, there's a note in the tooltip itself where you can see the updated stats.
Okay, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, pull things no longer behind you, in range where you can actually go.
Okay, that's actually pretty decent.
As you can see, it is pretty effective because he literally just leaves them right there for you, served in a platter for you to destroy.
I love things on a platter.
Yeah.
That's actually going to be pretty good with her
then
one,
her 1 also now synergizes with, I guess this will be with her 3. Okay, so her 3 always created those little shards.
Yes.
A lot of players didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah.
Because they are kind of hard to see, and
they are.
They never were a big deal. So you see those little lights over there. Now when you pull them, you can see they hover around you. If enemies get close to you, they deal damage to them. And then also, if you then cast the magnetized bubble, those little things will fly into the magnetized bubble to basically buff it up as you guys are used to, right? So you can see them spinning there and dealing damage. Well, that guy was already dead, but you see what I'm saying. And I think that's it.
That's what happens when you don't have natural talent.
Mostly about buffing, making the mechanics of the polarized shards much more clearer, connecting them to other abilities, and then making that one
from big PB to super
powerful.
PB. Hell yeah!
Finally, Bolt. Bolt is the one that received the least amount of changes because he was pretty solid already. A lot of what I mentioned earlier, buffing those base stats to max rank. His 1 is now 15 energy instead of 25. That's something we're trying, just like, how does it, like, we generally, first abilities have always been 25, kind of universally. We're trying it on this one, see how it feels to have a 15 energy version of it.
Eidolons?
Shield,
Easy.
Most of the changes are to the carry version. It no longer, for the carry.
Carry! Tell me!
I didn't know I had my alternate version, so that's exciting.
It no longer adds extra energy drain. It no longer slows you down. It no longer limits you to secondary. So all of those extra limitations are gone.
Let's go!
So it's much more comfortable to use. Well, it's actually much more viable to use because a lot of people were not using it as it was.
Let's go, dude.
And did I miss anything?
And it, you can gild it to not only increase their stats, but also to start earning mastery from it and other things. But what we've done with gilding now is, as a functionality for modular gear, it is now the gate to mastery. So that means that your modular stuff, from your Zaws to your kit guns, are going to give gilded level stats when you build it, and then you can choose to gild it if you want to earn mastery. So gilding for the player that's looking for power, or I think customizations too still actually. But as far as functionality goes, you will get your stats at the just modular level, so that if you're wanting to build a different amp because you know you need a better amp for the quests to come after Second Dream, you'll be able
quality
to get
of
stats from
fucking
those,
life.
before having
Let's
to guild
go,
and turn
dude.
in, which really comes down to the way that the Quill's Syndicate works, because you know you need to progress a lot in that Syndicate.
Only guild
before
upon mastery,
you can build your
yep.
amp, but now the amp you make is going to just be better as you're earlier in that Syndicate, which
Hell
was
yeah,
the real
brother.
motivation for that change.
Yep.
For folk.
I did, the speed buff is actually higher now, a little bit. I don't remember the number. What?
You're increasing both speed buff?
And we're slightly increasing the duration, not a lot. I know because the comment I was seeing in chat is like, hey, what, increase the duration. I don't like the, in general, I think it feels better when a buff is not like something that you just have all the time, because then you don't even really like feel when the speed comes in.
Yeah.
So it's higher. It's constant for all ranks. So rank 0 will have the same duration as max rank. They're all raised to the ceiling. It's a little higher, but not a lot higher. But the speed itself is high.
Damn.
Anything else?
Holy
I don't
shit.
know. We'll see.
Let's
Just
move along.
Throw more
with the
words in
biggest
chat.
dick
and
in
we'll
the
start-
fucking
we'll start,
game, dude.
seeing what comes.
You'd be
All
like,
right. Riven changes.
carrying that shit on his
Riven
shoulders.
Rivens, if you come to my gameplay, I'm just going to kind of recap how they currently work. You never know someone's experience level in chat. But essentially, you have Riven slots. And those Riven slots are occupied by any Riven you get in the game.
Yes.
So,
Ribbon capacity.
yeah, so your Riven capacity, mine right now is 117. I'm almost at capacity, and every Riven I get is going to feed into that. But we are changing that.
We're gonna change that. I made a great video on it. Dean, if you'd like to roll my video that I made this morning. Yeah, so basically there's those two stats. Now we have a new kind of state for the Riven, where essentially you're gonna get your Riven and it is going to stack, and it is going to be basically a secret. You're gonna obviously know what weapon to put it on so that you can equip it. As you can see, it kind of goes by a little fast, but as soon as you equip that Riven onto that weapon, it unveils it, you can see what the actual challenge is, and then it counts towards your Riven capacity. So you can just keep earning Rivens and not
That
equipping
animation
it
was
and
cool,
knowing
not gonna
what
lie.
it's for, and it doesn't stack towards that capacity you have.
Yeah, it's like a pre-capacity bucket, so that sometimes
Okay,
we've always struggled
now
with.
what about rolling
you can't
Rivens?
do a sortie because your Riven capacity is full, and that's just sort of a.
Why did she
bit
say
of a-
sortie?
Not a pleasant flow for the player, so this solves that.
Yeah, essentially it was like it felt sometimes like a pressure to purchase, which we generally don't like. We like when players buy something because they either want to support us or they want to actually get something in the game. And this sometimes felt like, well, you cannot play anymore. Like you cannot do sorties if you're at cap and things like that. And it just felt bad to add that pressure there. So we just changed it so that it's a little more
French baguette.
a little more lax, and you can kind of save them there. And then once you actually want to start using them, then you do that step to kind of reveal them.
Okay.
It does add a little bit of complexity
so
to
they
the
didn't
system
change
because now we
anything
have
about
3
the rolling
states,
the
but it's not
ribbons?
too much. So I
No,
think it's
not too much.
I think it's good.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Jump right into AoE, Pablo. Let's
Okay,
do
so
it.
we're gonna go directly into AoE.
Let's go.
And that's why I brought this page.
Let's go.
That's how complicated that one
Pepe
is.
The rest of us can just sit back, relax. Okay, I think our job is to react to Pablo.
Yes,
This is like we want to get the thumbnails on the React streams. Where it's like, I can't believe DE did this. Or like, what are they doing?
You need something I can flip the table or something?
Yeah. I already knocked my
Throw
water over, so.
I just can't
Where's that
wait.
French piece of
I want to see all the molding kids.
Yes, it's true.
I want to see all
Treachery
the
and all.
molding kids. Let's go.
So AoE,
There we go. So AoE, here
You
we
guys
go.
can stop. Over to him. There we go.
basically, as you guys know, AoE has been pretty dominant for a little while.
Yes.
Particularly given some of the changes that we made in the past, such as removing the self-damage. That's one of the ones that really kind of boosted up things, because now that there's no, obviously in hindsight, we can see now that actual functionality was doing quite a bit of work on
Adding back
maintaining the usage of
self-damage,
AoE under control. And that control has been gone for a while.
Oh,
So the first thought
Okay.
is like, okay,
he's prepping
why are
himself.
we changing it?
He's prepping himself.
What reasons do we have? So we generally look at, there's many things to look at whenever we decide to make a change. But there's 3 that generally do me pretty well for almost any gameplay thing that I'm looking at. One is looking at how automated is it? Is it something that you're actually playing? Is it something that you can kind of not play and ignore. And for this, we actually have some
We have
video.
footage of how we play right
Live,
now.
live for the live build. We have AoE footage.
Yeah, this is live build footage of how. I think there's
Oh my God,
this
the
is showing
particles.
the fact that there's no consequence to using it. Well, there's a few things being shown.
My
here.
eyes.
Yeah. Essentially, you can run through a mission like this, kind
My
of shooting
eyes.
a rocket at your feet, doing everything in a long, long range.
Please.
You never run out of ammo. You never suffer much damage. It's very, very. I wouldn't say it's automated, but I would give it a half a point for automated.
We can take a look at full automation with the second AoE video.
Yeah, the second AoE is a little more. Yeah, so there's this one. This one basically, we had one of the testers try this, and he stayed there several minutes, never ran out of energy, never ran out of ammo, never died. Like he could even collect enough survival thingy from just standing there doing essentially nothing, just shooting at the floor. You don't even have to see the enemies.
Back to about 8 years ago when we first debated putting an explosive weapon into the game at all.
Look at us now. Did you say yes to that, Carrie? Look at this.
So is this Carrie?
So the real possibly be my fault.
Viral heat, boys. Viral heat.
You wanted
Hunter
grenade
munitions.
launchers,
Let's
Carrie,
go.
didn't you?
Well, I liked Quake a lot.
All right.
Rocket jumping.
Oh my
that's right.
God.
Look what we've become.
So yeah, we feel like this style of gameplay has become pretty. It's pretty bad. Like you're it's
playing
not.
a game.
Yeah, you're not playing
yeah.
a game. Yeah, and
You're
I think
not-
just for like people that are mentally organized for how we're going to go through this, there's
Mentally
three
organized.
core rules for how we address balance. The first one is automated,
Right.
and then you're going to take us through the other two, and we have some more videos.
Right. So the second one is dominance, and we've done this before. For example, with Catchmoon, when weapons become so overwhelmingly
Watch
dominant
them
that
add
you
a
basically
line of
have
sight
almost no
to the
choice
AoE.
but to use them. If you use anything else, you almost feel like you're playing wrong, because what's going to compete with what you're seeing on screen, right? Like it's just you're just devastating entire rooms without having to aim, without a care in the world. It's very hard to have anything else that can compete with something like that. So right now, out of our top 5 weapons, all 5 are AoE.
Yes.
They comprise 47% of our weapon usage.
Brahma, Czar.
It's essentially kind of all there is. So
Use AoE or you're playing wrong as a trend. So yes, you can come back to us now, Dean. I'm sure people are not getting any entertainment.
Do you get it yet?
Yeah, but like that's just the.
Look at it.
That's the extreme use case. That's when, like, that particular use case is when you are automating and playing. People do play and engage with
Mother
warframe with
always
AoE weapons. We're not
liked
painting everyone with the same
you
brush.
best.
We're just showing the extremes that we see when we get these reports.
Where's
and
Gaz,
actually,
Envoy,
the last
Bram-
point. So
No, you
if
can't.
you're not doing that, you're playing wrong. And the final one, which is for our co-op game the most important, are you disrupting other players?
Yeah, and that comes down to like how disruptive is your gameplay to other players that might join you. Because at the end of the day, this is a co-op game. We need to try and keep the game fun for everyone, and so make it so that one player cannot kind of quote unquote ruin it for the rest. I think a great example of this is when we made changes to Limbo. The problem wasn't really that Limbo was too strong or that Limbo was whatever.
No.
It was mostly that whenever
was
a
a
player
troll.
was playing with all Limbo, it was just annoying
It
to play
was.
with the old Limbo because he would just freeze the enemies. You couldn't shoot them. Limbo could really ruin the game for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
rest in peace. My JoJo
boy.
frame. It's fine. We move on. We move on.
And I think it's similar for this. We don't generally see players asking us to nerf things. It's very, very unusual. But we are seeing it quite a bit with AoE. I'm sure you've seen it on forums and Reddit and Twitter. I get this is one of the. I can't even remember another thing I've been asked to nerf in DMs before. But
In
this one is
DMs?
one because it is making the game less fun for other players that want to try other gameplay styles. This one has become so dominant that just cannot really
Reddit?
coexist
Yeah,
with.
dude. Fucking
So yeah,
Reddit.
So what
those
are we
are
gonna do?
So wait,
What
those
do we
are
actually do?
what are you gonna
those
do?
are our whys. Now what are we doing?
Okay, there we go.
We try
I'm
to
ready,
approach
I'm
this
ready,
in a
I'm
kind of
ready.
holistic way.
Uh-huh.
So this is gonna be kind of complicated because I'm gonna come at it from many different angles.
Okay.
We're not doing I don't think any of these changes on their own are huge.
Okay.
They're like small changes all over the place.
Okay.
So let me start with ammo. So ammo, we were already working on changing ammo before we started doing this, and it just happened to be something that worked pretty well together.
Okay.
So what we wanted to change with, so I'll start with what we were changing for ammo, and then at the end I'll mention why it matters for AoE.
Okay.
So In ammo, we have 4 different types of ammo that drop regularly in the game. We have 5 if you count heavy ammo, but I won't. So those 4 types basically will be secondary, primary, shotgun, and sniper. And then basically, those drop on the floor. They have different colors, and then you pick them up. For the most part, players are not really very aware of ammo because it's just you can just kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really serve much purpose other than seeing a whole bunch of little color things sprinkled around the level. So we were trying to simplify it, and we are changing it into primary and secondary only. No more separation for shotgun or for sniper. So what does that mean for you if you came with your shotgun to a mission? It means that now when you kill an enemy, instead of having 1 out of 4 chance of getting ammo that actually helps you, you now get 1 out of 2. So that basically now ammo is a little more plentiful for you.
Yeah.
On top of that, we actually increase how much ammo you get from each bucket because we reduced how often they drop. So they're now twice as useful. We reduced how often they drop by half, so now we're even. And then we increased how much ammo they give. So now it's
now what about ammo mutation?
Does that make sense?
It does. So when we talk about like this so far, how does this relate to AoE? We'll get to. You said you're going to take a few different angles, but I think if you're really passionate about AoE, definitely listen to everything we're saying here, and we're going to have recaps. There's going to be overviews. We said it was going to be a long stream, and we meant it, and we still have art to get to. Don't worry over there, guys.
This is
so at this point,
this is a pause champ clap
to try and balance
because
AoE
it's not a pog clap, it's pause champ sausage clap.
After those changes, how does this relate to ammo? Well, if you remember when there was an attempt to nerf Brahma before, well, I say an attempt because it didn't really work. The attempt was reduce how much ammo it has, reduce how much ammo you get from each ammo pack, with the idea that that would kind of throttle how much you could shoot it. The reason it didn't work is because ammo packs drop so often that with ammo mutation, you could basically keep up your economy of ammo without really having to care at all. Now that ammo packs are a little more spread, they drop half the time, you actually can run out of ammo, which is definitely quite new for us. But we can actually now use ammo for balancing, whereas with the previous system, we really couldn't. Now, for weapons that have large ammo pools, this is actually a buff because since you have a large ammo pool, you can go, you can wait for the next ammo drop to come, and now it'll give you even more ammo than before. So for those weapons, don't really worry too much about those. Those are totally fine. But now we can actually use this system as a way to throttle the Brahma.
Yeah, and I think just as someone that has my 5 Brahma, and I still love it, it's not a matter of, like, we don't want to take the Kuva gear that you've earned and you don't want to use it anymore. So this will be a very reactive balance approach. And I think just when it comes to intention and the fiction of something like the Brahma, which is an AoE explosive arrow, maybe it's better that I don't use it on one single enemy and then raid again on a group and just try and be more tactical. So it's just about using your grenade launcher on one enemy versus clustering and being just a bit more strategic. And that's it, really, for intent.
We didn't really want to make it so, because a lot of the suggestions that we saw for how to handle this was like, just reduce the damage until it's considerably inferior to single target. But we felt that that went against the fiction of shooting a grenade launcher to someone, Like if you're shooting a rocket at someone's face, it needs to be punchy. It needs to kill a bunch of enemies. It just needs to not be as mindless as it is right now, where you have not a care in the world for, if you're aiming at one guy or if you're aiming at 5, it's all the same to you.
Yeah. So because we're talking about ammo, I don't know if you're going to go into the holster speed stuff from here.
Yeah.
Okay. So because there is but depending on your builds or how you manage your gameplay, there's a likelihood you'll be holstering and weapon swapping more, which means we're actually going to buff that.
Right. This is a long-standing change, and we have a video kind of showing it. Essentially, we're changing holstering. You can see there on the right, we have the new one. On the left, we have the old one. And essentially, we remove the first animation where you go and holster in. And then we sped up the second animation where you holster out. So now switching between weapons is considerably faster. So it actually enables you a little bit more to bring workhorse weapon as your secondary that you can use to kill around, and then on your primary you can keep your AoE nuke. So you nuke a few times, you start running low on ammo, you switch to your secondary, you kill a few enemies, gather ammo, and then switch
Vigor
back,
swap
and then you can
into
do
swap
that.
now. Let's
that
see
back
what they
and forth.
say. Hopefully they mention Vig swap.
Which it really is kind of like, that is the reason there is a secondary. Right? Like the whole point of the secondary was so that you could like accomplish separate things from your primary, so that you could have several tools. But it never really has quite been like that, because generally primaries were so dominant that didn't happen. I saw a question in chat about Vigor swap. We did a pass on all the mods that
Vigor swap.
all the
Vigor
mods
swap.
that had holster speed. Some of them we just removed. So for example, in Vigor swap, we just left the damage buff untouched, and we just removed the holster speed part because it makes no sense now. We do have some mods that are just holster speed that we changed to now. I'm not going to improvise what they are right now, but we changed them. They still exist, and they do something related to holster, which my memory does not allow me to recall right now. The next thing is headshots.
Headshots.
So right now, AoEs can do headshots. It's not a very significant part of their damage. From the tests we did internally, it depends on the weapon. We basically, one of our programmers set up a thing that we could see stats live as we were playing and compare damage with headshot multiplier and without headshot multiplier.
Okay.
And from the tests that we did internally, basically it was a difference between like 4 and 10% damage. So it's not a huge nerf to AoE weapons, but basically AoE weapons can no longer deal headshots, the explosion part. If you hit someone with the Brahma, with the arrow on the head, that will do a headshot, but the explosion itself won't do headshots. In practical gameplay, it's not a huge deal.
It's not.
But it always felt kind of absurd that a flamethrower could deal a headshot. It just never made sense.
If it doesn't work for me in real life, it shouldn't work in Warframe.
Uncle Sakes, thank you so much for the back 4 months.
We'll see your bullet shuffling.
No, then it's not about glaive. No, they're talking about.
So we changed that for AoE, so they no longer do
I think it's guns
headshot
only.
multiplier. And then the other kind of side of like, okay, well, if AoE is too strong, then maybe we need to lift the things that are not AoE. Basically, for any sort of precision weapons, we increase the headshot multiplier to 3 times multiplier. So now if you land a headshot with an actual weapon, you actually do more damage. So that way you can bring your Rubico, which actually is pretty highly used, and then if you deal a headshot with it, now it's a triple the damage. So basically you have more incentive to use precision
Do they know
weapons
what they
there.
just did? Oh no!
So that's
Do they
basically,
know
the
what
blast,
they
like you
just
said,
did?
no more headshots, but single target
Pepe
has been
laugh.
increased.
Correct.
Oh, they don't know what they just did.
And generally, like as a
they
mechanic,
made-
headshots are
Guys,
generally there
Guys.
to reward precision. So it didn't really make sense when
Convectrix
a large
Flux
explosion
rifle.
could deal a headshot.
Oh my
so.
god.
And also in
Nell
practical,
Prime? Oh my
use,
God.
it almost never happened because the AoE would hit the body
Gas
before it hit the
electric?
head, so it
Oh
would
my
almost never
God.
count as a headshot. So it's a low occurrence thing, but we are changing. And then the mods.
So
Yo, thank you so
can
much,
actually come back
Futs.
to my gameplay now.
Thank you so much for the
Dean. I'm
5
gonna just
gifteds.
show- I think we're only touching
Thank you so
2
much,
prime
dude.
mods.
Oh, oops, whoops.
2 primers.
Yeah, so Prime Firestorm and Prime
my
Fulmination.
Yep. So historically, whenever we've done prime mods, we generally
Enjoy the emotes, my dudes.
increase
Sorry, I
the
didn't see it.
stats by about two times. Not as much as 2, but about that. So for example, I have examples here of continuity goes from 30% to 55%.
Okay.
Flow goes to 150 to 275. So it's not exactly double. It's a little less than double, but close to that. And then we have some that grow less, that grow about only like 50%, like pressure point goes from 120 to 165, or pistol gambit goes from 120 to 167. So generally, that's how we do it. On this one, on Prime Firestorm and Fulmination, we went triple the bonus, which was kind of crazy in retrospect.
66 versus
you know,
45.
obviously, it was unusual, and it was
They
also
open a
mistake,
bad floodgate.
because we can now
Guys,
see that
What
AoE
if I tell
is
you
really,
this
really
is
good.
barely
So,
noticeable?
we're gonna bring those down to be similar to other frames, similar to other prime mods. So it's gonna go from 24% to 44% when it's the prime one.
Yeah.
So those two
nothing.
are changing to be more in line.
And we are doing compensation for
We are,
players.
yeah.
So anyone that's modded, like, you know, or fused this mod to max, you will be reimbursed if you are no fan of the changes.
They can't aim for listen.
We have a couple others that are also outliers that we're
Because
also
when you're
changing.
playing AoE, you're not
Tactical
standing in one
pump and reach.
spot. You're
But in the case of
moving.
those, we're changing
So
it
it's
in a
you're
different
not
way.
even gonna notice
Instead
this.
of lowering the prime, we're actually increasing the base one. So just the plain old reach is going to increase to 1.5. The tactical pump is going to increase to I think it's 60% or something like that.
But I think one thing when it comes to, you know, why is the AoE meta the way it is and all of these things, you know, every time we do an update cycle,
'Cause
we
it's
release
efficiency.
time, and I'm just going to go into this part now, so you can stop me if you weren't done there, but.
There's more stuff. But
I know, but I wanted to just kind of acknowledge the reason a player might be inclined, or sometimes they say they feel forced to use AoE or something. So with something like a big AoE build where you just want to go in and you just want to mop the floor with everything and get out, a lot of the motivation to do that is because, say we release Core Prime, you know you're playing a Lith Relic. So you know you're going to be playing level 7 content and you're way more experienced in the game. So what we're doing to, you know, give players a different option that actually want to crack Lith Relics but with a bit of a challenge, and you'll still have the choice of course. But if I go to navigation now, you're going to notice something we're adding. So if I switch to Steel Path, we're adding Void Fissure Steel Path missions, so you can actually do your Lith Relics at a higher difficulty, and you'll also get Steel Essence for it and the usual Steel Path things. So if you want to do your Lith Relics at the
Dark
base
Shadow,
level,
thank you so
level
much for the
6 to
5
8, you're still
gifteds,
free
and
to
oh
do
my
so,
god, this is
but
so
you
good.
can now actually do harder relic cracking if you're so inclined.
this is coming
You'll
next
get a little
month?
bit of a plus for it, which comes in the form of Steel Essence and anything else that
I bet y'all forgot about the
entails.
AoE
Because generally
changes already,
speaking,
didn't
if you
you?
played Warframe a long time and you know those prime access cycles are coming, you might not look forward to playing that Lith mission. And I'm just picking on Lith. You did nothing wrong. What the fuck, just so
Except
low.
being level 11 to
All
13.
you did wrong was beat level. So this is another QOL change that's coming with Veilbreaker.
Yeah, the main intention here is like for a lot of players, it makes absolute sense that if you have a bunch of mods and a bunch of weapons, and we ask you to go and do a level 11 mission, you're not gonna have a lot of fun because it's so easy for you.
If you find, you know, all things AoE, that's basically what we're doing for sure for the Veilbreaker update. And then there's some other potential things we're going to do. One of them is potentially adjust the self-stagger. So the first one would be, right now you put on Prime Sure-Footed, you're good to go.
Yeah, so to be clear, that's where we end with the changes.
We're done.
And I'm sure, I think none of them are too extreme. I
They're
think all
not,
of
they're
them are,
not.
like on their own, they probably wouldn't move the needle enough. We're hoping that coming
Time to
at
get
this
banned from
several
trading
angles,
for
a
level
little bit at a
capping, yes,
time,
yes.
makes it so it's not too painful, but it also actually makes a difference.
Uh-huh.
But we also tried a few other things that we're gonna keep on our back pocket for now. We're gonna save for part 2.
Okay.
If it's
because-
needed.
If it's needed, because we want to see how this one's pan out first.
Okay.
So I won't go into a lot of detail about this one, but I do want you to be aware that these are things that might come. That these are things that we try. Because I already saw a couple in chat where they were asking like, "Why didn't you do this? Why did you that?" So
They're not gonna nerf PSF.
I'll go over them.
They're not
kinda-
nerfing
kinda
PSF.
fast. One is the fiction of AoE generally has been, if you explode something in your face, you'd get some sort of consequence for it.
Yes.
Initially it was the damage, then we changed that to the stagger. And right now, essentially, that stagger, that knockdown, gets removed with a mod that you can get on day 400, which is Prime Sure-Footed. So we did experiment with changing that one to either work like Cautious Shot, where it just downgrades the thing, or simply only work on enemy CC. We're not going to release that right now, but it definitely is something that we are considering. If you saw that initial video of the running around, shooting at your feet as you run around, because you can still do that. You cannot do it for as long because you run out of ammo. But you can still do that, and it is kind of weird. But anyways.
But we have a slide here that we're blocking, but if you wanted to take a screenshot, this could be the version
It's totally
of it that
fine.
you take.
Yeah, you don't even notice
and
it
then I just
because we're
quickly
going to be
want to
moving.
go to WUKONG and just to talk about how, as a Warframe, WUKONG takes everything we just talked about with AoE and are philosophy, which is automation,
guys,
is a dominant.
where the
or is it
WUKONG
disrupting other
Andes at? I
players,
want to see
and
you guys
is a perfect
mold.
case
Let's
study
see
in
this.
all
Let's
that,
see
and we are
this.
going to make some tweaks to WUKOng.
Nothing. They didn't destroy it yet.
I think
They
we'll
didn't
just roll my video of me playing on the live build.
All right, let's see. Let's
just
see
so you can take a
WUKONG.
quick
Let's
look
see
at
WUKONG.
what you can currently do with WUKOng, which is actually something you can't do as a player. So this is where it all comes in. So right now, I have my WUKOng out. He has the Kuva Brahma. My Celestial Twin is out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And he doesn't need ammo. So he can do things that I simply cannot do.
True.
Which is he can use the Kuva Brahma like a, well, I guess I could have used an ammo restore, but just practically speaking, he's just going for it. Ammo, not a care in the world, and he's automating the game for me.
Okay.
Which, you know, you should. Celestial Twin is
Dude,
meant to be
chill
your
with the
second
particle
moving command.
effects, DE.
He
Holy
does a lot of
shit.
damage. This is okay, but we're making changes.
Yeah, so we're mostly focusing on that first ability, which, as you can see here, is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
The main change, first of all, we're halving his damage. So right now he copies exactly the damage that you would do, which in retrospect, it's always been too high. So we cut in half, but we also increase the damage if you mark a target.
Which some people might not even know you could do, because why bother? But you can mark targets with WUKOng's Celestial Twin.
If you mark a target, then the Wu clone will focus on that enemy and will deal extra damage.
Yeah,
now
2 times their
even
damage.
more
They
damage
ruined
to that
him?
one enemy. So basically, it's rewarding an active playstyle where you're actually telling him what to do. Generally, you only want to do that for like if you see an Eximus,
Yeah,
or if,
priority
you
target.
get an Acolyte, things like that is where you want to
Yeah.
use it. The other change we did is that he now actually uses your ammo. So that means you can no longer stand there and just watch him do the thing. Testers actually try this, and basically you can feed him ammo. So you can be around killing enemies with your melee, get some ammo for your clone, and you can keep feeding him so he can still work.
Pepe
But again,
life.
you have to play. It's all about making it so it's not all automated. And the last change is that he now actually is affected by the explosion, so he now will get staggered. He will get all that. Now, in practice,
Okay,
most
that's kinda
players
lame.
that have WUKOng will also come with prime sure-footed, so that
Yeah,
last,
he inherits your
This
loadout in that
clone,
respect.
yeah,
so.
that's
so
annoying.
that last change is almost like a non-change if you're already putting prime for sure. But anyways, that's.
But we are
what it is.
buffing his 4.
Yeah, from reading a lot of I was reading a
Hold
lot
up.
of like posts and stuff of what people expected to change with WUKOng after I mentioned in Twitter that I was going to change them. A lot of people expected nerfs to his 1, which I just told you what
Guys,
they are.
they're gonna buff his
Nerfs
4.
to his 2, and that's
Let's
where
see.
I'm going to subvert expectations.
Wow.
Oh,
'Cause,
Watch out.
Yeah, watch out.
Well, let's go.
And we're not going to change his 2. Essentially,
Hey, his 2
going
is
back
just
to
fine.
those sort of like the pillars of why nerf things. We feel his 2 is not something that you'd automate. It's not something that's disruptive to other
Speed's
players.
still there. I mean, his 2 is
Is it a bit
already
dominant? It is
nerfed.
a bit
His 2
dominant.
was
It is
actually
really fast,
faster.
but it is a lot of fun. And when we were thinking about, okay, how could we kind of control his 2, it really felt like when we nerfed that, we would be nerfing fun, and we really didn't want to do that. Where we feel like we need to reserve those sorts of changes for automation, disruption, et cetera, et cetera. So his 2 is untouched.
His 2
fourth,
are untouched.
He's getting a buff. Essentially, he's getting a little more base damage on it. We're not fully restoring, but adding a little bit of the range growth with the combo.
Change his fucking combo.
It's not as huge
His
as it was
stance
before, but it
sucks.
still gives you, I think, up to like 3.5 meters, something like that. So more than a prime stretch. And we're also adding at the end of his forward combo, where he does like a stomp on the floor, he'll do a little vortex to pull enemies to you.
That's
so
kind
that you
of
can
the
smash them.
theme of the stream. STYANAX Vortex, Meg Vortex.
I do like
WUKONG
Vortex.
Vortex. So
Yeah.
if you didn't like vortexes before, you may like them now.
Yeah, so those are the changes.
That's not what we wanted, bro.
Right. So
His
I'm going to
stance
take a pivot now to
sucks.
talk about Veilbreaker.
Oh my
as
god,
new
his
content.
stance
So what we've talked
multipliers
about so
suck.
far is
His
all
stance
things
sucks.
balance changes. We showed STYANAX, but now we're going to introduce.
You actually
our
wanna play?
contents,
Yeah,
which
dude,
is
I
the
actually wanna
WARFRAME
play
gameplay
now.
For Veilbreaker,
What the
WARFRAME
fuck?
system.
Have you felt like
Which
this, Chris?
essentially, once you've got
Kinda.
the
Yeah.
quest complete, which is a shorter quest for Veilbreaker, you're going to unlock something called Archon Hunts.
that my
And
eyelash?
these are a weekly system for players
shit.
that every week you're going to get the intel on a
Subdue
new
an
Archon that
Archon.
has a new, tweaked look for the post-New War world. And there's going to be
Zero
new lore and new
respawns.
stakes for you as a player.
Zero
to go through these.
consumables.
You'll hear from some characters. Maybe I have a voice recording session Monday.
Let's go.
How much is there? And then you're going to do a
Ding
mission
donk.
in this section of gameplay content that will always amount to a showdown with an Archon. And these are
Yo, that actually looks
our
good.
version
This is
of
interesting. Yeah,
content
I'm
that we
actually
really want you to
interested.
think about what loadout you're
I'm
going
actually
to bring
interested.
and how you're going to play it in a co-op setting. So we have some restrictions just to change it up. These are weekly, so if you can't do it the first day, you have all week to try and
Yeah. No
refine your
worries.
build, whatever troubles you're having. Maybe get a squad to help you, but you'll get bonuses for
Weekly
certain
video.
gear, and then
Hey,
there's also
you guys wanna
restrictions
kill the
where
Archon?
respawns,
Use this
you can't
loadout, and you-
self-revive. Really, co-op reviving is the only way to stay alive. So if you get down, you better hope you're sticking with your squad so that you can all stay together, advance together through the mission. And then consumables.
Little MR players
similar
gonna
to
complain
Steel
like
Path,
crazy? Man,
they
fuck
have a
'em.
cooldown. So same idea as Steel Path. These are weekly,
No, like we have
and then
to
they
have
end
something
with
to do
that
in this
fight
game,
against the
bro.
Yeah,
Archon
bro.
of the week. You can absolutely do them solo. It doesn't have to be co-op, but as with all things in our game, totally possible solo. But
They are tough.
They are-
and they are meant to be tough.
They're tough
So,
boys.
Yeah, well,
God mode in ours, and ours were like, hey, I'm coming.
If you play the new war, you know, by the time you get to
Hey.
fight Archons with your
What happened,
Warframe,
man?
yeah.
maybe it was a little anticlimactic.
There's a new flow, new mechanics for
Azure
the final
Archon,
boss
who
fight,
knows?
the Archon hunt
We'll see,
itself.
man.
So you'll be going in, you'll have to discover how to get through where they are, shake them out.
where
There's
they
new
are?
mechanics there. It's not
That's good.
just the
Dude,
Drifter versus
when is
Archon
Megan getting
New
to
War
talk,
stuff.
bro?
It is different. It has a twist. You don't want to do spoilers, but it will be.
Beckett hasn't really moved
Yo,
on
But
from
it
the
is
poor
community
Megan,
manager.
bro. Poor
It is
Megan.
meant to
She's all
be
quiet
more
looking at her
punishing
pad.
side.
She's probably
Well,
scrolling
you know,
through Instagram
better
or
than-
something.
Yeah.
We want to see what we can do with challenge. That's
Oh,
pretty
bro,
much it.
that's
It's a
kinda
really,
sad.
that word will trigger a lot of different reactions, but we want to try different things.
Look at that, she's,
and that's
like,
what Veilbreaker is
scrolling,
about.
bro.
So these boss fights at the end, you'll have to take a look at them and see for yourself where they go. And every week a new one will appear for you. And you're going to get something new. You'll probably see on my screen something called the Azure Archon Shard, which is a new system we're adding for upgrades for players. So every week, if you
Playing
do
Fruit Nate,
your
that game still exists?
Archon hunt, you will earn the corresponding Archon Shard.
Okay.
Which, when you're done the quest, you'll have the necessary equipment to use it, which
Okay,
means
boys,
that your
new
helmet
currency.
is getting more use. And Archon
Helmet.
Shards as a system are an upgrade system for a given Warframe. So you can use your Azure Shard, or if you're lucky, you have a 20% chance to get a Tau Forged one. And
Tau Forged
your
one?
Archon Shards will be installed in a given Warframe. You have 5 shard slots,
Hey, yo, what's
which
this?
you can put your shards in. So for me, I have my Protea here, who I love dearly. And Pablo, if you want to talk a bit more about this system,
Hey, yo, what's this?
feel free.
Yeah, essentially it's a way to kind of focus on like the frames that you really want to buff even more, the ones you want to take to the very extreme. Basically, you can select from 3 different crystals, and they also they have the Tau Forged versions, which are a little stronger. So you
Health
can
and
select them, and
shields.
then
Oh,
from
please.
that it'll give you a selection between different buffs that
Okay.
you can get from those gems.
Honing.
So in this case, you can
Energy
increase the
max.
health
Hell
and Protea,
yeah,
you can
bro.
give them some shield. As you can see, the Tau Forge gives it a little extra bonus. Some more
That energy,
energy.
of
Essentially,
course,
you
more
can
health.
kind of oomph your preferred frames to get them, and also the gems. If you the shards, if you decide to, they can be
New buffs? Yeah, they're
They can be
new
moved.
buffs.
So you're not like fully committed. You can take them out using basically helmet resources.
Yeah, and
Okay.
just to be clear, these are permanent stat upgrades that your
Permanent
given
stat
Warframe
upgrades.
would have. So if I love my Protea and I did my weekly Archon
What about power
hunts,
strength?
I can now permanently increase a specific stat depending on which shard I have. So as you fight
No power strength
Amar, you'll
increase?
get the Crimson shards from Amar, you'll get the Amber shards from Nira, and you'll get the Azure shards from Boreal. And these are permanent stats.
Just add 5 plus
that
energy
you
shards. I think
can
it's going to be capped
apply
anyway.
to a given Warframe. So
Yeah, and generally speaking, the red one is offensive stuff, or attack stuff.
Attack stuff.
The yellow is utility,
So
and
what's
then
this,
the
like,
blue
helmet,
is what you're seeing here, which is more on the
Buffalo?
Defensive.
defensive.
All right, show what you got. What we get for
defensive
red.
side of things.
So you have a limit of 5 Archon shard slots per frame, and you can
Show us what we get on
put 'em
red,
in.
bro.
So you'll be earning these at the rate of 1 a week, and you'll be able to kind of decide which frame you really want to invest
Hey, yo,
in. And
show me what we get on red.
They stack. So if I had 5 blue shards, or Azure shards in this case, I could put 5 all for armor.
Yeah. So spoiling a little bit from the yellow, for example, the yellow you can get extra bonus from energy pickups. So if you put 5 of those, you can almost replace Energize with that. So you basically could kind of free up your arcane slot.
That's pretty
and
interesting.
basically, you can kind of pick and choose which frame you
Yo,
want to go with. The ones that
yo,
are
is this really
tactics, which ones you
Warframe?
want to go utility, which ones you prefer defense.
Wait, is this all this shit coming
Remedia
out next week?
shard
Next
does
week?
destroy it.
Veilbreaker,
So say in the
yeah.
case of a frame that doesn't have a prime, if you've put
What
all
the
these
fuck, bro?
shards
I
in
know,
that frame,
right?
the prime comes out, you'll be able to get it back. There will be a little bit of friction. Right now it's using a Helminth resource. So
Okay, can you
that's still
please
under
show
review
us
for
the
what we're
red
gonna do there,
ones?
but we know that
I'm guessing the red one is power
people
strength.
who have invested in frames might want to
Right?
change their mind. So we are going to
But
let
wait,
you
are
go
these
back.
buffs like the helmet buffs?
They're
And the only
permanent.
other note
They're
is,
permanent, okay?
well, I don't know if I say this, but in
you
Castle
get this
rerolls
shit by
stuff
killing
now,
Archons,
right?
Yeah, so
I know the
there
Archons,
will
yeah,
be
yeah.
shards available. It's not just through the weekly Archon
Like, if
hunts,
I didn't
Wait,
miss
where
wait,
you're
wait.
really doing that final boss fight with an Archon to take their shard, but Call might have got 1 or 2 things up his sleeve, so you can kind of engage with both.
So
systems
Call
to
or
get
the
yourself
Archons?
those particular upgrades. Yeah, so for Veilbreaker, we have STYANAX, we have Call with his Veilbreaker.
Dude, this is actually big. Can they be removed? Yes, but it's going to cost you Helminth ability, Helminth resources.
Kickoff, and then you'll be kind of on your
Not a
way
bit,
to
the resources.
explore all the
Yeah.
quality of life changes. with
Like, you
tons of
basically
skins,
the regular
with
resources
tons
you do
of,
for,
like more QOL than I think we even covered on this
infusing
stream. We're already
abilities.
running.
Yo, this
you
this
know.
is big, bro.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is huge.
Yeah, so we talked about
Very
all of
huge,
that.
that's what she
Augment buffs
said.
are coming as well.
Dude, Volt got a giga buff. Dude, Volt got fucking buffed, dude. If you thought Volt was good now, he's even better. Bro, peep this. So, think about this. For Eidolons. His first ability will cost 15 energy. His 2 got double the speed. His 3 can be picked up and will not lock you out of your secondary and will not drain energy. So just imagine for Eidolons, dude. Dink dunk, dink dunk, dink dunk, dude. It's a giga buff. Would Oberon Armor Strip be worth to use now? I mean, it's usable, but it's still not the greatest thing in the world because enemies have to be inside your 2 and enemies have to be lifted and smashed with the 4. How to get the free Warframe? Just log in on the first 2 weeks of the release of the update. What did they say about the crossplay? Rip Bozo. That's what they said. Free Warframe? Yes. STYANAX free. What do they do to AoE? AoEs cannot. Now the AoE explosion cannot headshot. Did you even notice that? Did you notice that? No. Secondly, they reduced the radius of prime fulmination, right, from 66 to 44. When you're using an AoE weapon, you're moving anyway, so it's still no like you're not even gonna notice that as well. Probably that one guy that was just slightly, past your radius will be staggered. And ammo, and they changed ammo right now. Instead of getting multiple types of ammo, you're getting 2 universal ammo drops, primary and secondary. So your primary ammo drop will work for all primary weapons, bows, snipers, shotguns, etc., etc. So it's gonna mess a little bit with mutation. That's about it.